Hey loves, how are you? I know that there's been a ton of emotional energy happening internally and externally within the divine counterpart connections as there's a huge major recalibration taking place. And so I'm going to speak around that today. I know that we're all on our own different and specific waves. This is definitely leaning towards a wave that has not been in physical world communication for some time. And the energies are recalibrating and rebalancing. So I've already started to record this, and about 1 minute into the recording, my microphone completely stopped working. To me, again, with all of these shifts that have been happening, there's just a signification of major recalibration happening in the energetics internally and externally. So these energies are what have been coming up. I spoke 2 days ago around seeing this Nine of Swords energy in my mind's eye. And I've been guided to pull out these two cards just to express the energy that's been coming through. So, since the last time you were in communication, there has been lots of growth, transformation, and recalibration. Many of you have dropped into deeper forms of temperance within your energetic field. And as the energies are calibrating into the physical world, like right as we're moving closer and closer to our true timeline alignment in the physical world, it's bringing up within our internal energies and within the connections a lot of processing that's taking place. So it may be happening within your system as things are thawing out, and it's layers of different things that are happening. You may be clearing and processing core wound stuff, stuff that happened in this life, things that have happened throughout this process. But most importantly, what I would like to bring through for you is to actually drop in the results of who you are now into any of those old memory fields that are coming up, because what's happening is you've transformed and tempered significant amounts of energy since then. And you may have stepped away or been guided to move away from one another because of the levels of energy that came up between you were just too much for your systems to handle in that way at that time. And so what's happening is because you're so much stronger now, it's coming up to clear out, not because you're going backwards, not because you haven't transformed, but because it's opening back up to realign the original timelines back up in sync in the physical world. And so you're tempering what's coming up based on what you've learned since then, and you're dropping in the results. This isn't about avoiding what's coming up, but also understanding maybe there's some things for you to process again or process at a deeper level to strengthen into your temperance in a deeper way. It's always an opportunity coming up for us. Honor whatever you're feeling, allow the grief to pass through, allow yourself to honor what's coming up and learn whatever you need to, but also know that you're in a space where you can drop in the results of what you have learned since then. So let that support you through this process, okay? This I'm feeling is happening internally within the masculines and feminines, but also deeply within the connection of where you have both learned to temper and where you have both grown. And then also establishing those energies into the places and spaces where you have not been in physical world communication, so that the energies are able to recalibrate and come into alignment before you sync fully back up in the physical world. But I'm sensing and feeling that these things are coming very much into ahead into the physical world. And it's 11:11 here where I am right now. Funny, but it's also like coming into, I keep getting like 3 to 6 months this recalibration will be happening. It doesn't mean that it'll be those exact moments. All of you are on your own specific time frames, but there's going to be a lot of recalibration and retempering into the physical world So supporting yourself physically and emotionally and spiritually. But I am acutely aware on multiple levels that there is a lot of emotional energy processing in the field. And I know this based on many of your comments over the last few videos. I can tell that the collective here on the channel is in a significantly different energy, but I also feel, even if it's uncomfortable and frustrating, that there is a very, very deep recalibration happening that's allowing us to stabilize deeper and deeper into our physical world. Okay. So, regardless of who, what, where, why, masculine or feminine, however you identify, whatever you're working on internally, allowing yourself to go through this process. And I do want to point out right here and right now, there are also many of you that have moved deeply into this temperance energy and you are feeling these emotional energies and you're aware on a lot of levels that it may not be yours to process. Also, like I spoke about in the last video, that you're holding space to allow this transformation and recalibration to take place within your connection. Okay, loves. So I'm going to pull some cards to see what we get in between. So, what is happening within these internal and external recalibrations for the masculine and feminines for our evolution ascension process with what we've tempered so far and also what we're recalibrating into? So, bridging the gap between where we are or where we were, where we are, and where we want to be. Okay. So, where were we? Let's see what we get with that. We already kind of know it was in the, yes, we were in the planning seeds stage while we were working deeply within our own internal work, unraveling, tempering, stepping into embodying more and more of who we truly are. Where are we now? That flipped right out. We're in this process of recalibrating to our 10 of Pentacles, which this makes sense. This is like that individual sovereignty, like planting seeds for our own freedom and our own individuality, which is a very, very important part of stabilizing to be able to come into this 10 of Pentacles energy where we're coming more together in community, in family, in partnership, in a very physical world manner. Okay. And where are we headed as we move through this grieving process? Nine of Swords energy. Okay, you saw those flip. So the masculine energies are coming through, which I felt a big significant amount of this is the masculines kind of thawing out to the connection in a new way, like I spoke about in the video from 2 days ago. I'm going to drop that in the comments because this is clearly almost like a part two of that is kind of what's coming through. So the masculines are deeply in this energy of realizing in the past they knew what they wanted, but they are realizing they didn't necessarily have the skills to fully embody it, the same way that the feminines have been learning. But to me, this is the masculines acknowledging that they're filling in the gap between where they were to where they wanted to be. And there's something deeply thawing within the emotional energies that's allowing them to reconnect with that original energy that they were in, say, like in the love bubble phase, because regardless of how it looks, the masculines want these connections in the same way that the feminines do, deep at the core of it, right? We don't have these dreams and we don't get into relationships and we don't go through these processes because we do not want it, right? We might not always believe that we're going to get it, but deep down, a majority of the collective does want these beautiful, gorgeous partnerships to come to fruition. We want to experience that confidence and that temperance within ourselves to be able to build the life that we're wanting to build. And I'm going to say why I always say it doesn't matter how old you are on this journey, because these energies have just started to become available on our planet. None of us were really in a place to build in this manner in the past because it was it would be building on a faulty foundation, okay? That's why these things didn't come to fruition in the first place. We had to go and knock out the old foundation so we could actually build one in the new energies. And what's coming through is that these connections may have looked like those pie in the sky energies in the past, like, oh, how's that ever going to happen? It doesn't seem stable. It doesn't seem possible that it can come together. But the irony is that as we've done this work, these are actually the most sure connections that there could be when we're in our true alignment, because they are in that highest alignment. That was the original core soul contracts. And you're going to know this because you're both going to come into alignment, feeling these energies simultaneously, wanting to co create and being committed to self and being committed to build these things together, right? First, we have to learn how to do it on our own to some degree. And then we come together and we learn the next levels and layers. And so, if you're not there right now at this part of the journey, that is okay. It may not be time for you to be in that part. Or some of you, I know you're going to say it's over, it's done. That's fine. That may not be your person. But I'm going to keep it all the way real with you. If you're here watching any of these videos around these partnership energies, it's because there's something within you that wants this. And so maybe it's the person you're here for, and maybe it's not. Either way, it's your journey. It's your energy of deciding what seeds you want to plant and not placing that on any other external person. This is about you finding it inside of yourself and understanding that you can have this life for yourself regardless of who comes along and who doesn't. And that is when you're going to truly drop into your power, masculine or feminine. If the person you're attempting to connect with is not showing up in your life, that is because you're being called to drop into these energies and build for yourself. As you drop into that and build for you, whoever is meant for you is going to find you in that energy. But if you're sitting in this and you're mad that they're not coming forward and doing it with you, it may not be because that's not what's meant to happen, or they may or may not be your person. And if there is a part of you that knows without a shadow of a doubt that you feel that it's your person, then even more of a reason for you to refocus on yourself rather than feeling sorry for yourself that they're not showing up. And I know that these energies can be triggering. And I'm not telling you not to honor what you're feeling. Honor what you're feeling. Set your boundaries. Let go of overgiving. Start refocusing back to yourself and building the life that you want because you are strong enough to do it. If you weren't, you would not be in this position in the first place. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, keep bringing it back to yourself. And I know I'm being a little bit intense right now, but it's because I love you. And because sometimes you just need to know that you're strong enough to create and build this regardless of what's happening in the external world. And as a matter of fact, that's going to be the most important thing for you to focus on, regardless of what's happening right now. Because, yes, there's some of you, a wave of you that are about to come back into communication because you just walked the whole cycle of deep shadow work. And there's some of you I see that are just about to embark on that in a new journey and in a new way. But I'm going to also tell you, if that's where you are, embrace it, drop into it, and understand that this is where you are going to build the muscle to become the man or woman that you have opted and asked to become. Okay. It's where you're going to build the muscle. It's where you're going to bring that life that you want into fruition in your own power, not based on what anyone else is doing or saying or thinking or feeling, because you're going to own it within you. And that's where it's always been. And that's where exactly it needs to be, my loves. So, whatever you go through on this part of the journey, please embrace it. Let yourself feel angry. Let yourself feel sad. Let yourself feel whatever you need to feel. Honor it. Learn from it. Because if you're feeling that way, it's because there is something inside of you that is triggered for a reason. And it's calling you to strengthen in those places and spaces. If you're hurt, where do you need to drop in boundaries for yourself so that does not continue to happen? Okay. Yes, honor what you're feeling. And now pick yourself up and own how you can strengthen yourself within that. Okay. And I'm saying this because this is the power that you have, whether you know it or not. All of these things, no matter how hard they are happening for you if you can turn your mindset into this realization that it's happening so that you can actually shore up your energies, strengthen yourself, and no longer participate in the things that are hurting you at those levels. Okay, loves? Yes, we have to acknowledge that it's not cool, but now it's your job to become that person that's not going to allow that to happen again. You feel me? And I'm saying this to inspire that within you, that deep down at the end of the day, you may not have known this while you were in your recent experience, but now you are in a position to either drop the results of what you've learned into this, or you're walking into the next steps and stages of strengthening yourself through this process. Okay, loves, because I feel it. You feel how strong they're having my energy come through? It's so that you feel the stability and the strength and the power and the truth of these energies. It's in you. No one can take the truth of who you are from you. Own that. Step into it. Allow yourself to go through these processes. Allow yourself to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and start building towards the life you truly want. All right, loves? Regardless of what has happened, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what you're going through. I love you and you got this. And honor wherever you are. Get yourself some support if you need it, but also give yourself the space and the grace to build the strength and the muscle to stabilize into your truth in your life, motivating yourself to be inspired to build your life for yourself, regardless of who is or is not available. All right, loves. I'm going to leave it there because I know that was kind of intense. All right. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you want to share some love in the comments, if you've been going through this, drop some hearts in the comments. If you've been through this and you want to give those that are going through it some props and love, drop some hearts in the comments. I love you all so, so very much. And we're here at this pivotal point, at this pivotal journey, because we are evolving, because we are ascending while staying in our physical bodies, and we are gaining the strength through these processes to become those people, the men and the women and the partners that we've been searching for. All right, loves. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful